thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating step-by-step how you can play this garage beat. And because my YouTube channel has finally reached over 500 subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. Down in the description of this video, you'll find a link where you can download the PDF guide for this beat along with a very special sample pack that I created just for this video called Dad's Garage. So let's get started. Now for each of the tabs that you're going to find in the Finger Drum Bible and the PDF that comes along with this video, you're going to find that you're given a couple of pages that have all of these small grids. Now, each one of these grids is equal to a 16th note count. Now, if we were to count this from the top left-hand corner all the way to the right, we would count 1 E and A. Then when you jump down to the next row, it would be 2 E and A, then 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 5 E and A, and so on. So each one of the grids is equal to a 16th note count, and that means that the very first grid on each row is equal to a quarter note. So then if you're reading it from top down, just the first column, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now when I'm practicing these beats, what I like to do is start at the very top row, and I just practice that row until I feel like I've got it. And then I'll move down to the next row and I'll just keep adding on top of what I already know. So let's start by working on that first row. So as you can see here, the first 16th note is indicating that I play the bottom left-hand corner and then this pad up here. Now this is the shaker and this is the kick drum. So the first beat is... So typically what I'll do is I'll use my thumb for the kick drum and my middle finger for the pads that are up here. Kind of depends on what I'm going to be doing with my pointer finger, but I found for this beat specifically, I like using my middle finger for the shaker sound. So if we're going to count this, I'll count 1 E and right? So you can see that the second and third column on the first row don't contain any triggered pads. And usually when you're reading these, what I'll do is I will assign my right hand to the first column and my left hand to the second column, and then just alternate between the two. So this would go 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and. Pretty easy. Let's add the next row. So the second row is telling me that I need to hit the shaker again and the snare drum. 1 E and 1 E and. All right, so let's try putting those two rows together. So 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and. Now, as you're getting started, it will be more important for you to be able to play the pads consistently than being able to just play them fast. So if you have a metronome or perhaps you have a very loud clock or something that you can be playing along to, that will help your sense of timing and it will really help you out in the long run. Okay, so let's move on to the third row. 3 E and, ooh, that's a tricky one. So the 3 E and is requiring that we hit 3 pads at once. So what I'm doing is I'm using my thumb for the kick, my middle finger for the shaker, and then my free pointer finger here, I'm hitting the closed hat. So then all together. Now it might take you a little bit of practice to be able to hit all 3 of the pads at the same time with your 3 fingers, but you'll get the feeling for this as you practice more and more, and especially if you're keeping time by alternating your hands left and right, kind of creates even momentum with all of your fingers. So let's try playing all the way up to the third row. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and... All right, let's do that a few times. 1 one E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a... Okay, let's add that fourth row now. So the fourth row is asking us to hit the snare drum and the shaker, and then the shaker and the closed hat. So then the fourth row is going to sound like 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and... Let's try putting all four of the rows together now. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and... Okay. Now, so far, because we've only got pads that are being triggered on the first and third column, we're only using our right hand. But you can see in the fifth column coming up, we get to add a pad that's going to be triggered with our left hand. So let's give that a try now. So the first 16th note wants us to hit the kick and the shaker. And you'll notice actually that as we look through the grid, that the shaker is always being hit on the 1 and. So you're kind of doing this the whole time. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky to get used to, but with this beat especially, you're alternating your middle finger and your pointer finger as you play. So it's kind of like... But you'll get it. Okay, let's try row number 5. 1 E and 1 E and 1 E. All right, easy enough. Let's try the 6th row here. So now what we're being asked to do is shaker and the snare, and then we're throwing in this little snare roll with our left hand. After the snare roll, we're doing the shaker and the closed hat again before we hit the kick drum. Okay, let's give this a try. So 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and... Okay, let's try the 5th row and the 6th row now. Now, I'd repeat those until you feel like you are getting into a bit of a zone and a bit of a rhythm. The idea here is repetition is going to be your friend, because we're trying to take this information here and we want to stick it into your muscle memory so that you don't even have to think about what pads you're hitting. Your body just wants to do the movements. Let's work on the next row now. So what we've got here is we have to hit the shaker sound on the 1. And then we've got another snare here on the E. 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and... Okay, let's try playing from the beginning down to the 7th row. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and... Whew. Okay, last row. So this last row is wanting us to hit the shaker and the snare, and then the shaker and the closed hat here, like this. And then finally, we're doing the snare again. So this is going to sound like 1 E and 1 E and... Okay, let's try to do the whole page. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and whew. Wow. Whew. Practice makes perfect, of course. Now, I'd I challenge you to practice this up and try to learn the second page. There's just a very slight variation between the two pages, and I want you to practice, practice, practice. Take it slow. Just to give you an idea of pacing, honestly, I'll usually do maybe 4 rows per session. I don't really practice a lot, but I find that, being able to commit 4 rows to memory in a session is a nice goal for me. And so, take it slow and be patient with yourself. Really, the best way to learn anything is to, practice until you can't practice anymore, and then sleep. Take a rest and then come back to it the next day or after a nap, and you'll be pleasantly surprised to find that information that you've been practicing so hard the day before is now baked into your muscle memory, and you're going to have a much easier time building on that and growing that information. Once again, thank you so much to all of my subscribers. I just can't thank you enough for that. I really hope that you enjoy downloading and practicing this garage beat. And I also really hope that you enjoy this sample pack that I put together for you. If you have any questions at all, I love hearing from you. Feel free to hit me up in the comments section, say hello, share your progress as you're learning this. I want to see people playing this beat that I created for you, and I want to hear those sounds being used in your own productions. Of course, if you don't have the Finger Drum Bible and you're interested in picking up a copy from Amazon, I'll leave a link down in the comments or down in the description below. I thank you so much for watching, so much for subscribing, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy finger drumming!